I need to start looking. Brooks wants to talk about the TPP. I don't even feel. I don't even feel that strongly about this. I mean, I feel strongly about like trade policy in general. You said you're pro TPP. It should be a dunk for you. Yeah, but the problem is like I feel like it's gonna. Like I don't want it to go like. It feels like it's gonna go the Kyle Kulinski route. So I'm gonna say, I think that multilateral trade agreements are good. You'll say, well, I think they're bad. And I'll say, okay, well, I think they're good because they boost economic prosperity. And I'll say, well, they're bad because they're written by multinationals and trade corporations. And I'll say, well, I think it's better to grow the overall economy because it helps us. And then we should, amend our tax policy or something to make sure that people aren't getting left behind. And I'll say, well, we can't do any of that because corporations are lobbying the government and they control the legislation. And then I'll be like, okay, so you think we should say kind of fuck the economy, I guess, because we can't because we can't write good tax policy. We're like, well, as long as the corporations control everything, we shouldn't be doing multilateral trade agreements. And like that's like the whole debate. That's what it feels like it's going to be. Do you think there's a fair comparison made between comments like this and how obsessed right wingers were with the health of Hillary during the 2016 election? Holy shit. I don't want to tweet snipe. Fuck, dude. It's so horseshoed. Oh my god. Like, it's literally the same shit Trumples were saying about Hillary. That's bullshit. Do you want me to send you a paper that finds that trade disproportionately helps poor people? I mean, if you want to, I guess. I don't know. Feels like more spice is needed. The most recent discussion has been pretty bland. I mean, my conversation with Burks is looking like it's going to be pretty bland. So TPP, really good idea. From everything I've read, it seems really good. And every academic study that hasn't been heavily criticized is in favor of it. I don't see this pose a downside. I mean, like there are legitimate criticisms about the TPP. Burks tends to not back down. He was pretty aggressive with Sargon because Sargon is a fucking idiot who is way the fuck outside of
compatibilism or hard determinism. I am a compatibilist myself.
Sargon was way out. Sargon wanted to talk about like global Muslim movements and called Michael Brooks a regressive without even defining the word. Sargon was way the fuck outside of anything he should have been talking about. Michael Brooks should have fucking shit on him. That was such a cringe fucking debate to watch. Most of the criticisms that I hear about the TPP aren't usually good criticisms. Like some people criticize the idea that like companies could sue countries or local governments and say that that's like an example of like a really bad thing. But like these types of like third-party arbitration clauses are built into like so many trade deals that we're already a part of. And the ISDS is supposed to be an upgrade to a lot of those deals. Basically, the ISDS just makes it so that if a local government is like favoring, some other company over your own or some shit, that you can sue the government for fucking you. Like, it's not like a completely out there. Yeah, the investor state dispute settlement shit. Yeah, it's not like a completely out there thing. It's already built into a lot of trade agreements that we already have. And it's not even necessarily a bad thing. Like, I don't know. It feels like a knee-jerk response where it's like anything that might give an investor or a company a little bit of power, people are automatically assuming it's the worst thing in the world. The thing is, you don't care about wage inequalities caused by trade because you say that'll fix it with your tax policy, but trade openness will hinder your ability to have a redistributed fiscal policy because it will reduce the fiscal multiplier. Trade openness reduces your fiscal multiplier. What do you mean by that? Is fiscal multiplier the idea of how effective money is once it circulates in an economy, or
me and no hype?
It means poor people will buy imported goods, and that will grow the economy less than if you had a closed economy. What? Okay. Can you please quickly explain what the TPP is? It stands for the Trans-Pacific Partnership. It basically included some 14 or 15 countries that were all going to I don't know what it was going to be. I think now the renegotiated one is like the third largest trade market in the world right now. behind NAFTA and the EU, or the European single market. But basically, it was just going to be a huge multinational trade agreement between a bunch of countries in the United States. But we ended up pulling out of it. I don't even know why we did. It didn't have very much popular support. Some analysis seems like it would have hurt some jobs. Maybe. I saw one analysis that said it, but there was a response. Here's what. Fuck. Hold on. I need to check my email. I need like a PhD econ person to talk about this shit. Wait, what? Hello?
Hi, Steven.
Oh, hold on. Give me a sec. We're talking boring fucking shit. It seems like the biggest problem with the analyses of a lot of these, this is like the pattern that it seems like I go through when I read some of these like analyses on trade, is that some study will come out and it'll say, hey, this trade deal, costing you jobs. It's hurting you jobs. I noticed this when I was reading papers on NAFTA. Look, lost 50,000 jobs, lost 100,000 jobs, lost 500,000 jobs. You fucked yourself. And then it always seems like a response paper comes out and it's like, hey, you're absolutely right. This particular industry did lose 150,000 jobs. But what you're ignoring is the fact that because those jobs moved, 4 other industries opened up, and the increase in specialization led to a gain of 250,000 jobs. So in actuality, there was a net gain in jobs. And because trade liberalization increased, we can assume that these economies are functioning. Like that always seems to be the case when I read when I read things like where it's like, oh, jobs lost, and then it was the same case for the TPP, where I think the initial estimate was like, oh, well, we're going to lose some percentage of jobs, but then researchers came back and they're like, well, the reason why they're saying that is because they're not looking at all the positive impacts that that's going to have in like parallel sectors or increased specialization in the economy that's actually going to cause job gains. So yeah, so I'm not sure. It's always like, it's really hard. Don't you feel like you treat the TPP and Medicare for all in opposite ways? TPP was probably a sensible policy, but it's wildly unpopular, so supporting it is a terrible idea. The same could be said of Medicare for all, but on the TPP, you focus on the sensible policy, but on Medicare for all, you focus on the thing is that Medicare for all, having a multi-payer system and having a single-payer system both of them seem to be okay. So why would I support one that I know isn't going to work over the other? I don't know what the alternative to the TPP is. If my choices were between single-payer and banning like private insurance versus what we have now, I'd be in favor of single-payer. But there are other options. I'm not unblocking you one more, dog. Get fuck shitter. Would the TPP have affected trade with the EU in any way? I don't think so. I mean, the European Union wasn't impacted, and the TPP countries were all. It's called the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I think people like Australia, New Zealand, and smaller countries I don't give a fuck about. We're all involved, but it was going to be like a huge market. It might have been. I don't know if it would have been the largest in the world. Maybe the second largest. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. What am I looking for? Oh, this. Is there like a map that shows all these? But Australia, Brunei, Canada, Chile, Japan, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Peru, Singapore, Vietnam, and the United States. Why are you letting him sidetrack you? Can you explain how moral and political positions can be different? Listen, hopefully you've asked this question a million times. I hate talking about abortion. I don't want to talk about anything about abortion. The reason why my moral and my political position are different is because morally it doesn't fucking matter anyway. You can probably justify any position you fucking want and fuck it. And politically, pro-choice just makes more sense. That's why, okay? Don't please. Oh my god. I think you've asked this question like 700 fucking times. Holy shit. The TPP included rights for foreign corporations to sue governments for millions of dollars in international tribunals if they can argue that a change in domestic law or policy at a national, state, or local level will harm their investment, known as investor-state dispute settlement. Don't you think this is bad? Why? Why is that bad? If I there are ways that this could play out. Let's say that I set up a company in another country, and then my company is competitive, and I'm able to sell products, and then that country is like, fuck that. We're actually going to make some random regulation bullshit or some random shit, and now your company's non-competitive. Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker. You got dumpstered. All your employees need to fucking be Indian or whatever, some crazy shit. No, why wouldn't you want investors to be able to protect their investments like that? Of course. Not to mention the fact that, like, historically, I'm pretty sure countries win most of these disputes anyway. Like 30% of them get settled. Like 8% of these come from like huge companies anyway. It's not like there are these massive corporations suing these governments out of existence or whatever, right? What if your company is harmful for the country? Well, the idea was that the TPP had provisions so that people wouldn't be able to sue you for like enacting things related to like climate change or stuff like that. These random regulations would be child labor laws or workplace regulations in China, not to mention eco-friendly. No, the eco-friendly shit was bullshit. I'm pretty sure even Warren tried to write about that. But I'm pretty sure that the TPP had... I'm pretty sure this is even... There was like a lot of like, so in February 2016 op-ed against the TPP, Senator Elizabeth Warren used the example of a French company suing Egypt because Egypt raises minimum wage as an argument against the ISDS provisions of the TPP. The Washington Post editorial board has however challenged this characterization of the case, noting that Veolia of France, a waste management company, invoked ISDS to enforce a contract with the government of Alexandria, Egypt, that it says required compensation if costs increased. The company maintains that the wage increases trigger this provision. Incidentally, Veolia was working with Alexandria on a World Bank-supported project to reduce greenhouse gases, not some corporate plot to exploit the people. The case, which would result at most in monetary reward to Veolia, was not the overthrow of the minimum wage, remains in litigation. The Office of the United States Trade Representative challenges the notion that the ISDS challenges the sovereign ability of governments to impose any measure they wish to protect labor rights, the environment, or other issues of public welfare. The International Bar Association mirrors these sentiments, noting that while investment treaties limit states' abilities to inflict arbitrary or discriminatory treatment, they do not limit and, in fact, expressly safeguard a state's sovereign right to regulate in the public interest in a fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory manner. The White House notes that investment protections are a component of more than 3,000 trade agreements, the vast majority of which have some form of neutral arbitration. The United States is party to at least 50 such agreements, has only faced 13 ISDS cases, and never lost an ISDS case. The White House asserts that the ISDS components of the TPP are an upgrade and improvement on ISDS and other trade agreements. TPP makes it absolutely clear that governments can regulate in the public...
might be late, but...
Hold on. The White House asserts that the ISDS components of the TPP are an upgrade and improvement on ISDS and other trade agreements. TPP makes it absolutely clear that governments can regulate in the public interest, including with regard to health, safety, and the environment. The TPP includes the ability to dismiss frivolous claims quickly and award fees against the claimant to deter such suits. Sham corporations will be prevented from accessing the investment protections, and arbitration proceedings under TPP will also be open to the public and allow for inputs for non-parties. Like, I don't know. I don't believe this idea, unless maybe the IBA is lying or some shit, I guess. This idea that people are like, oh, like the TPP is going to make it so companies can sue you for having like emissions controls. Like, I might be late. Did you see that Bernie Sanders and Joe Rogan's Twitter right now recording a podcast? Yes, I think of 50 million people have brought this up.
Thanks, Destiny. Keep it up.
What's your argument against decommodifying housing? We have a very significant homeless population, and homes aren't something you can easily afford. Why not socialize the industry? What are you going to do? You're going to go march for the government and take over everybody's fucking house that owns a house? I don't understand what, like, the... How did he cuck you on this topic? Because I don't know. I don't even know what the fuck. I don't even know if he even follows any of the shit that I've been talking about, like, publicly. He said, all right, let's figure out how to make this a bit more specific, and also like how I got on your stream and confirm times. I said, you can join whenever. I stream like 10 hours a day, so you give me a window of a timeline. As for specifics, I can just tweet out and ask people what they want us to talk about or something if you don't have a specific disagreement. And then he said, I mean, you are tweeting a lot of stuff. I guess I want to be clear what you are actually objecting to. Do you support Biden? We could debate that as an example. I'll look more. And then I said, I mean, I support a Bernie or Warren because I like a president who's a bit more left in my current position, but I have a lot of policy disagreements with Bernie/Warren at the moment. Protectionist trade, free college, eliminating private insurance, to name three. But my main problems are generally with the militantly progressive online community, and then especially people like AOC's ex-chief of staff who was attacking Representative Davids, etc. And then his response to that was, let's discuss trade, specifically the TPP. We could talk about what's more relevant, online drama or actual power in terms of the conflict of the House. I generally prefer policy to online drama. And I said, that sounds okay, I think. And then he says, how does it work? And then we talk about like how to call. So, I mean, what?
Hey, do you wanna play League? All right, you wanna play Minecraft?
Sure. Are you on?
No, I was waiting for you to stop doing boring stuff.